Brown Palace is a three-sided masterpiece of stunning architecture and originality. Henry C. Brown plotted out his 9-story beauty to fill a triangular piece of cow pasture. In 1892, it cost $2 million to build and furnish. The most expensive guest room was $5. The Italian Renaissance-style hotel was built from Pikes Peak granite and Arizona sandstone. As the second most fireproof structure in the country, the Brown was crafted from concrete, iron, steel, and terracotta. The interior elegance helps make visitors feel like royalty. Over 700 cast iron panels encircle the floors. Glowing archways frame the dramatic 8-story atrium. An iridescent stained glass canopy spills sunlight on rare Mexican onyx.
Stained glass ceiling was designed and installed by a family that continues to maintain the stained glass even to this day. 12,400 square feet of onyx that was quarried in a mine in Mexico that just happened to be owned by one of Henry Brown's friends. It was the largest single use of onyx to that date. Walking into the lobby of the Brown Palace, the first time I ever did, took my breath away. I always want to capitalize on that sense of wonder, that sense of, wow, I had no idea that this treasure was right in the heart of downtown Denver. As you look up past those balconies of cast iron, you can find actually two that are upside down. The team of craftsmen who installed the railings decided to leave an artistic flaw. And then one of the workers must have decided this was a really good idea because he took a second panel, turned it upside down, and left his own personal mark on the hotel. And you can find those in the lobby by looking to the 4th floor and across to the 5th floor. The hotel doesn't generate its own electricity anymore, but we do still get our water from an artesian well. And since the day the hotel opened, our water has come from 750 feet beneath the surface of the building.
The gorgeous atrium lobby provides the perfect setting for its long-standing afternoon tea parties.
Which is a tradition and kind of a lost art of serving tea in the afternoon, and I always hear the same story. My mother took me to the Brown Palace for tea, and now I'm gonna do the same tradition with my children or my grandchildren. And it also shows the responsibility we have of maintaining and keeping this tradition alive.
One of the Brown's eateries is the Regal Palace Arms restaurant. Its unique display of Napoleonic antiquities includes Bonaparte's personal pistols. The Ship Tavern is another local favorite, complete with mast and crow's nest.
It's a mini museum in itself. The tavern opened in 1934, and it was designed to coincide with the repeal of Prohibition, so a place where Denverites could come and celebrate their refound freedoms. There's a lot of debate over how exactly the restaurant should be designed. It seems that on a trip to Cape Cod, Mr. Betcher had purchased an entire collection of model clipper ships, and he brought them home and he gave them to Mrs. Betcher for their anniversary. She said, "Great gift, honey, thanks." And then, of course, she saw this opportunity to offer up the ships as the centerpiece for the new restaurant. And so the idea for the tavern was born.
All of the Brown Palace's well-appointed guest rooms face the street. Back in the day, guests would choose their own room by requesting either morning sun or afternoon sun. There are 3 presidential rooms, including the luxurious Theodore Roosevelt suite. Roosevelt came to the Brown Palace on the heels of his Glenwood Springs bear hunt in 1905.
The hotel has long been called the place where the world registers.
From royalty to rock bands, local legends to presidents, the Brown Palace has been a witness to history.
I want to embrace our history, embrace our tradition, but at the same time can look into the future as well. And I think the most recent trend is a little bit that people look for a sense of place, for something they don't necessarily find at home, and that's where I think the Brown Palace is very different. And here we really provide them with a very unique environment and a very historical environment.
I think the Brown Palace is close to the hearts of the people who live in Denver because it has grown up with the city. People just feel like the Brown Palace is part of their families.